We are wrestling.
Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent. Stay tuned, listen to the podcast. Best one, Donnie, might teach you a thing or two.
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide? Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling Podcast.
If you ain't listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast, bro, you're missing out. The king listens, and you need to too, bro.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
We are wrestling.
What is up, best ones worldwide? I'm the host with the most, the best one, Donnie here with...
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide? It is I, Ben, Uncle Ben, Rage Circus, America's favorite uncle, and one half of We Are Wrestling Podcast. We have a stacked like a table episode for you guys. But before we get into all that fun shit, Don, take it away.
We have a very stacked episode for you guys. So much to talk about, and it's just a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. But before we get into all the good stuff, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this week's episode of the podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. Also give us a follow. But if you're watching this over on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, where you get the best pro wrestling content, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO. And of course, you already know the grind is real.
Get the tables!
Get the tables. So if you are watching this, we're wearing glasses right now. I'm wearing glasses that I actually got at the Wrestling Classic 4, which we do want to let the Maniacs know that over on the YouTube page, there's a brand new vlog out, a double vlog, Wrestling Classic 4 and Blitzkrieg Pro Living Proof, where Ben gets absolutely hit, friggin' gets a nice beer bath by the good old Sandman.
That is one of my favorite thumbnails ever because you paused it at the right time where I'm just like, you paused, I was fucking just showering in all that yeast. Showering, dude. I was sticky as fuck for like 3 hours after that shit before I could finally take a shower.
And also, the reason why I'm wearing these Dougly glasses is because I also posted over on my personal channel where I do toy hunts and toy videos. I did a whole haul video of all the cool things I got signed, and I got these rare Devon Dougly glasses that he worn during a promo against the Wyatt family. This is around the time back in
2016, right? It says it
on,
when he had on the side of the glasses. Yeah.
Yep, when he had the tables in the ring and it had each member's name on it. That was the segment that he wore these glasses.
Oh, dude, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, man. You own those shits now.
You can see right there, we got a little inscriptive right there. Yep. He signed his name, Dudley, and then
3D.
Right over on the back, on the other side here. Whoop. We're botching. There it is right there. Wyatt Family 2016. I got the inscriptive as well. Pretty cool.
Hell
Pretty
yeah.
Cool. And of course, we do.
A piece of history.
That is a piece of history. I'm very excited to have this. And I talked about my entire interaction with Devon in that haul video. So guys, if you are looking to see what we went through the last couple of months, it's all right here. We have a vlog
All
on the We Are Wrestling
pre-documented.
channel, and we have a haul video. Also, Blitzkrieg Pro Luau. We've been talking about it the last couple of weeks, and it's happening next Saturday, Enfield, Connecticut, the Pierogi Hall. Fortunately, I'll be not there. I'll be on vacation. Well, fortunately for me, but unfortunately, I'm missing out on the luau. But Paul London will be there, and a couple matches that you guys can expect to see if you decide to go to Enfield, Connecticut, which we'll talk about real quick. We have Paul London versus Bobby Orlando. Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Paul London versus Bobby Orlando. Dude, I'm going to mark the fuck out during this fucking match, dude. You know that, right? Like, I love Bobby Orlando.
The one
and
time
I
Ben
love
is
Paul
not going to
London.
be rooting for Bobby Orlando.
Yeah, dude, this is the one time where I'm turning heel on the motherfucker. Heel on that motherfucker.
And then, of course, We Are Wrestling. We're going to be sponsoring the Bedlam Championship match. TJ Crawford versus CPA.
Let's go.
Will CPA finish the story? The only way you can find out is the Blitzkrieg Luau. Also, fans, bring the pool toys. Logan Black versus Akira, which, man, this is one of my favorite stipulation matches that Blitzkrieg does for their luau shows. And that is it. Whoa, almost spoiled there. Woo. We're still learning the new system here. But
he botching.
Blitzkrieg Pro Luau, guys, Saturday, June 29th. If you have nothing going on and you're in the Western Mass area, highly recommend coming out. Cam will be having a table, and Ben will also be in the house as well. I can't 100% confirm if Ricky's going to be there or not, but I'm assuming he will. And it's going to be a good time. Blitzkrieg Luau, which I'm going to be watching it on IWTV. So if you're not from our area, definitely highly recommend subscribing to IWTV. Only $9.99. You can watch it live. I'll be doing that in the hotel room. Sorry, Meadow. And also that Saturday, Forbidden Door, I just want to remind everybody as well that there will be no watch along on the channel because I'm not going to have any access to my setup. So no Forbidden Door watch along.
Is anything big supposed to be slated or theorized to happen at Forbidden Door?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think so. The only match a lot of people are talking about is, I think it's Swerve versus Will Ospreay for the AEW Championship. Besides that, you have like New Japan versus AEW. You got AEW versus CMLL. So if you're like into that stuff, which I know our buddy Ricky, who's a part of the channel, is, I'm sure he'll be watching it. I won't be. I don't really like Forbidden Door that much.
I'm not gonna lie. There's an unspoken segment of this podcast, and it's called a segment of tribalism. And I'm gonna say 100%. It's funny that the company that's been doing Forbidden Door for the last like 3-4 fucking years is really failing this year. WWE's been doing it for like 2 weeks. It's already fucking thriving.
Well, they are working with TNA, man. And obviously, with like the United States,
I'm kidding.
With the United States fans, like, they're going to be more interested in TNA and NXT realistically than AEW, New Japan, CMLL, AAA, all these other companies.
Hey,
more
man,
people are going to be.
I was just doing it for ha-has.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like United States, more people will be interested in TNA, NXT.
Oh, for sure,
obviously,
for sure. I feel like in order to like get access to Japan wrestling, I feel like we just need a better way to do so here in the U.S. That's all.
And Ricky knows best. He knows how to do it.
Believe in me, Ricky knows best.
But there's so much wrestling already on that it's just so hard to watch everything. You really have to pick and choose. Don't know how Ricky has all the time to do it. But Ben, outside of the wrestling world, how's your week been?
I met my hero. I met Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who plays Negan on The Walking Dead. He's played Denny Duquette in Grey's Anatomy. He's played the comedian in the movie Watchmen, which is my favorite superhero movie of all time. It was fucking awesome, man. It was so fucking cool. I got invited to set. Got to meet a lot of the crew, got to meet a couple of the producers, got to meet a couple of the writers. Obviously, as you guys saw, I got to chill around, the bigger stars, while they were just cooling. And then he came out, took pictures with everybody. It was a really, really fun time. I learned a lot film-wise. And ironically enough, like I just let you know before we started recording that I got invited back to actually work on the set. So more details coming, but it has been a phenomenal week, man. I gotta say, like it's been an unreal fucking week, and we're all eating in 2024, brother. We're all eating.
That's right. It's the summer of the Rage Circus, man. You're absolutely grinding. You're killing it.
It's the summer of all of us fucking Western Mass content creators, man, because we're fucking winning lately, dude. 2024 has been unreal for all of us. Not just me, man. Not just me, but for all of us. We have been fucking eating lately, bro.
Okay, but here's why I'm putting you over here for a quick second, all right? Let's think about it. The last month, Ben, you have gotten the opportunity to go see Sleep Token, which is the band that took your channel off. Met a lot of your Rage Circus fans. Then, this week, you got the opportunity to meet your favorite actor from The Walking Dead, man, Negan. That is fucking insane.
Yeah,
and
man,
not only that,
Oh.
we also had a lit weekend as well watching WWE Clash at the Castle, which we do got to give a shout out to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs that joined us on the live. It was a good vibes, and Ben was feeling it.
Ben was fucking gone halfway through that shit, dude. Homeboy was fucking gone.
That's all I have right now in my camera roll on my phone is Ben dancing. And if Ben gives me the green light, I want to put a remix on the,
Give them the green light.
socials.
Give me the green light. Yeah, you got the green light, man. Edit the fuck up. Hey,
yes,
you can't get any kind of fucking clout with some kind of weird moments, man. But the other highlight, man, for us fucking eating all together, man, this fucking weekend coming up, man, like we were just talking about the luau, man. I get to meet another one of my wrestling
Nope, that's
fucking
not
heroes.
This weekend. That's going to be next
It's next weekend. Yeah, next weekend, rather, for the fucking... It's been weird in 2024, man. It has been weird. But I'm welcoming it, and I'm embracing it, and what a time to be alive as a content creator, man.
Crazy month for June for you, man.
And May was fucking nuts too. And then August, I'm going down to film a movie with Riker Road. So I'm like, dude, it's nuts.
And this summer too, SummerSlam. I'm also going to be going to Terrificon, Fanatic Fest, man.
I'm going
it's
with
going
you,
to be a busy summer.
Yeah, I'm going with you to Terrificon. I'm meeting Smojo too.
Yes, sir. Samoa Joe, baby.
I'm trying to meet Sweet Tooth before he's Sweet Tooth again, son. And I'm gonna ask him to break it down. Be like, "Huh, can you hit me with one of those Sweet Tooth fucking specials?" She had dumps like a truck.
Literally, guys, what Ben is doing right now, that's like what he was doing. Absolutely blasted after Clash of the Castle. What a
during
time
Clash.
it was.
No, that was right after because me and T-Bone were playing fucking cornhole.
Yep.
Fucking cornhole for like an hour.
So many cornhole videos I have on my phone. But I gotta say, man, this week for me has been a pretty solid week. I had a great weekend with you guys. It's always good catching up with the boys. We were playing cornhole, swimming a little bit, chilled by the fire.
Yes, we were.
Good vibes. And then on Sunday, I actually got the opportunity to meet Bull Nakito. That's how you say her name,
Bull
right?
Bull Nakano.
Bull Nakano. I got the opportunity to meet her at Zombie Hideout. So I do got to give a shout out to Premier Signatures and Zombie Hideout for giving me the opportunity to meet her. Me and Cam, we had a great time. And then this week on Monday, I was going through depression a little bit after such a great weekend because the Boston Celtics won the championship, and I was not happy about that.
I was about to give you a deep-ass quote to help give you a pick me up, and that's what you say? I went through some depression because the Celtics...
All week long, Ben. I have not been hearing the end of it. I even did a whole rant video. I made a rare video on DBTV this week talking about it because I had so much I needed to get off my chest.
Shit off his chest.
I was so depressed, but that's okay because things got better throughout the week because I just been chilling with this hot weather. I've been hanging out by the pool, getting some vitamin D, not that vitamin dick, some good old vitamin D. And I actually also did one of my first ever eBay bids for this really cool custom Owen Hart figure. and
That
I
sounds
actually
pretty fucking
won it,
lit.
which I will be getting next week. And I think I'm actually going to show you guys the figure in the intro of this video because, man, Owen Hart's one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, and WWE doesn't have the license to put out merchandise of his. And I really I don't usually collect custom figures, but he's the one exception. And I'm going to be putting him right on that WWE shelf, and I cannot wait. He's got the 2 Slammies, the Intercontinental Championship, looks just like him. I paid a good arm and a leg, but totally worth it.
I love when amputees say it costed me an arm and a leg, and then they jump out and they're missing an arm and a leg. I love the fucking sense of humor on some, but yeah, man, I just had to throw that out there. But I'm really excited
and
about
the
how
best
this week has
part,
been.
and the best thing about it too, right now, Burger King, they've been having these SpongeBob SquarePants cups for like the 25th anniversary.
Oh, I know.
And
I know you
I have been
angrily threw
collecting
yours.
them. And guess what? Before the podcast, I got myself a nice good old Sprite, a little bit of the Sprite, and I got myself a kids junior meal, and I completed it. I have all 6 fucking cups. Let's go.
It's funny as fuck because
It's a great week.
when we went to
This would have been the
BK
perfect
over
week if the
weekend,
Celtics did not win. Just want to
I
say
just want to
that.
say this right on record. Donnie has been working very hard on this collection because we went this weekend on Saturday before Clash of the Castle, and Donnie angrily threw the wrong cup into the back seat because he was pissed off it wasn't the one he was looking for. He's a very serious.
I got like 5 SpongeBob cups. I didn't want 5 SpongeBob cups. I wanted to get all 6 of the cups, and I finally.
Which one were you
did
missing?
it. So the one I was struggling to find the most was Plankton. And today I went to Burger King and I literally asked the person, I said, do you guys have a green cup? Because I always like to get myself like a soda or a drink before I do a podcast. And they said, we have a green cup. I said, okay, I want a King's Jr. meal. Which honestly is a lot better than going on eBay because the cups right now, they're like $20 a cup.
Yeah, dog.
When you could just get a kid's meal for like $6. You get food and the fucking cup.
Don, what's that? What space between those 2 toys? What toy was there originally? Right behind you.
Right behind me?
There's no other side. Other side. There's like a space in between your AEW figures, right on your wall, right next to you. There's a space towards the bottom. It's between. It looks like. No, down there. It's on your wall. Not your wall, like right next to you, bro. Not on like. Yeah.
Right here.
What's missing? Yeah. What's missing?
I really don't know. I need to find what's missing because I've been so behind on like my haul videos and stuff, which is why the classic haul came out this week and not 3 months ago.
Well,
So,
still, like I'm
I
just
don't
saying, like, did you get something signed? Because I know
I might be having
strange gap.
Maybe my Samoa Joe figure that I'm supposed to get signed at Terrificon. Maybe I kept it open for that. Probably.
Okay.
Because I keep most of my autographed ones on this wall. But now let's get into the power of the poll every week over on the We Are Wrestling community tab on the YouTube channel. We give you guys 1 week to vote on something wrestling related. And last week, we asked you guys what's your favorite object in the TLC match, tables, ladders, or chairs. Ladders won. And last Thursday, we asked you guys who had the better frog splash, Rob Van Dam or Eddie Gurerrero? Which, man, a lot of people were interacting with this. I love that all the subscribers, they're really interacting and doing the polls here because we got over 300 votes yet again. We've been so consistent with the power of the poll, and we pretty much post new ones every Thursday because it gives us a week exactly from when we're recording to talk about it and sharing the results. So, here we go. Drum roll, please. There it is. The power of the poll. We have 32% of you guys who said Rob Van Dam, and 68% of you said Eddie Gurerrero. So the winner of the power of the poll is Eddie Gurerrero, 68%. Ben, who do you think has the better frog splash?
I voted for Eddie.
You did. You voted for Eddie
I voted
Gurerrero?
for Eddie. I voted for Eddie. There was just some just divine elegance of the way that it was executed every single time, especially the high risk ones like off the steel cage was fucking mental. Yeah, dude. Eddie Gurerrero, don't get me wrong. I will never discredit Rob Van Dam. Rob made some distance. He's made air, and he also doesn't just go straight forward. He also flies to the side. It doesn't matter what angle his opponent is laying. In the air, he'll twist his body, so it looks sick as fuck. But I have to give the natural elegance to Eddie Guerrero. I have to.
You see, for me, I'm still contemplating because they both have such great frog splashes. And
I
I'm not
will
gonna
put a third option out there, though. Dom Mysterio has a pretty phenomenal frog splash as well. So I will put Dom Mysterio on there.
And that's
too.
like what I wanted to get into, because in the power of the poll, you can actually comment on it. And we did get quite some comments that I am going to read real quick on air. So we had one person saying Eddie Gurerrero, best frog splash. And then we had somebody also comment, Rob Van Dam had a better splash. Then we also had somebody asking, where's Montez? Because Montez does do the same.
Has a good
he
one
does
too.
do a similar frog splash to both RVD and Eddie.
We should have done a
And
four
then
party.
The best comment on here that I have to share, and I had to pin it. This was from @Sancho8441, and he said, "You can't lose with either choice."
You can't. You really can't. Yeah, he is spot on that shit. I chose Eddie just because, again, I'm all about execution. I'm all about form. I'm all about, consistency. And Eddie just had it, man. It was like fucking rain. It was just naturally perfect. And it was almost just supposed to happen that way, So I just,
So for me, my final decision before we finally close this chapter, which I love, like the interacting here.
I love the passion.
The power of the polls. And I'm going to have to go Rob Van Dam. I just always enjoyed as a kid him just before he would do the frog splash. Rob Van Dam. And then after he did the splash, he would pretty much go around the ring doing somersaults and stuff to really sell the frog splash.
But a lot of another thing that nobody talks about is how he got to the top rope compared to everybody else. He just took the top and then spun. The jump and spin. That was was also a part of it.
Yeah,
that was him cocking back the barrel, ready to shoot. That was fucking awesome, bro. Rob had a great frog splash. We need to put up four some of the best high flyers, and honestly, one of them for me, personally, would be John Morrison. John Morrison needs to go on a poll somewhere.
Oh,
that dude
man,
is fucking insane.
We are going to be continuing. I think the power of the poll is not going anywhere anytime soon.
No,
Maniacs are loving it. We're loving it. And we do want to let all you guys know that you can vote right now for next week's power of the poll. And this is probably one of the most stupid ones. We're going from talking about the best frog splash to who looks more like the real character. Fake Diesel or fake Razor Ramon? You have 1 week to decide, and right now, fake Razor's kicking fake Diesel's ass. Sorry, Glenn.
I'm going to tell you guys this right now. This is a real story. Donnie was genuinely talking about this in the group chat this morning about how stupid this power of the poll one was.
You got to switch it up. You got to get, we got to trick them sometimes, and we just have to put out just anything that's just random. But now let's get into the We Are Wrestling highlight of the week. You want to start?
Wyatt Sick6. That's all.
All right. Yep, it's our main event topic this week, so we do not want to really spoil
That's my highlight, though.
Topic.
That's my highlight. Yep. That's my highlight, though. And for so many reasons, that's my highlight, but we'll definitely get into it.
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely between Wyatt Sick6 and Joe Hendry showing up in TNA.
Dude, flowers.
We are going to be talking about that as well in the recap. But yeah, my highlight of the week has got to be Wyatt Sick6 or Joe Hendry showing up in NXT, which, man, we're going to be all getting into it just about now. So with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly recap for the We Are Wrestling podcast episode 113. Starting things off at Against All Cards last Friday, we saw the return of Jeff Hardy. As of right now, both the Hardy Boys aren't signed to TNA contracts, but will be on TNA programming with appearance deals. What's your thoughts on Jeff Hardy returning to TNA?
Obviously I'm happy for them, I'm happy that, they're going back somewhere where there was a huge part of their careers, some would arguably say some of their best work took place in TNA. I'm glad that it's a smaller roster, they're going to get a lot more opportunities. They're going to be able to, do a lot of cool shit. They're going to be able to put some people over. They're definitely going to appear in WWE at some point, even if it's on NXT for the merge and everything and the collaboration. Now, words through the grapevine have it that WWE is not interested in Jeff Hardy, but they wish him the best. But I think right now he's gonna take that on the chin. He's gonna show what he can do. But I'm not gonna say never. I'm not gonna say never. I will never say never anymore. I will see what happens. I'm gonna watch and see what happens. I'm gonna see how everything goes for the next couple of months for him. But I do believe 1,000% that he will be ending he's going to be ending his run in WWE along with Matt.
Oh, 100%. The Hardy Boys will. I think right now the reason Jeff's not in WWE realistically is because you do have to remember it was only a couple years ago when he walked away from WWE at that independent show.
And it was only a little over a year ago that he got another fucking DUI. So it's like, do they really want that? And that I can't blame WWE. I can't blame them.
But they also are going in a new direction as well, where they're trying to focus on establishing their own talent. I think eventually they will get their final match in their career when they decide to hang up their boots will be probably at a WrestleMania, and they'll be able to end it in WWE. 100%.
It's not going to be a final match. It'll be a final run. How long that run's going to be, I don't know. When's it going to be? I don't know.
I think it's going to be like right Rumble to Mania, probably.
Maybe not even that. I think if anything, I give it maybe another 2 years before they show up more on a run schedule, like with WWE. I think WWE really wants to monitor Jeff and make sure that there's nothing that happens in between, because dude really does have a lot of bridges to rebuild. He really does.
And that's the thing, man. Addiction is no joke.
I'm going to address the elephant in the room, and I'm going to say the hard shit right now. Jeff is 100% a liability. He's holding his brother back, and that's a lot of the shit that he needs to decide that he wants to stay clean. And he needs to decide that this is more important, and that's a Jeff Hardy thing. It's not a company thing, and that's all we can want, and I wish him the best, but I hope he succeeds.
And one thing, too, that I do want to add to this is addiction is no joke. I've, dealt with it in my family, and Jeff, just has to take it one day at a time. And
you have to really want it.
Right now, Matt Hardy on his podcast, he's been talking about how Jeff Hardy's been in a really good headspace, which Hardy's been doing pretty good, I think, now for it's been almost a year now that he's been clean, and he seems like he's in a really good headspace, which hopefully he continues that. And eventually him and Matt can go back to WWE where they first started, and they can end their careers the right way. But now getting into TNA, I love that they're giving Jeff and Matt the opportunity, because AEW didn't. Which, you did say it, Jeff Hardy was a liability, so you can't fully blame AEW on that.
Nope, you can't.
But I gotta say, Jeff Hardy going back to TNA, where he was very established, he was very over, and it was pretty much his second home when WWE wouldn't let him in. He had a very successful run, and I'm happy that TNA is going to pick up some momentum, having both the Hardy Boys there. And I can't wait to see what happens, because with Jeff being in a really good headspace, we're about to get some really good matches, and we're going to get some really cool stuff.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this is 100% not a company thing. Like, AEW tried to help Jeff, especially getting him off TV and everything. letting him do the crazy shit they were letting him do to kind of, wasn't helping the situation, especially pain-wise with what, Jeff Hardy is not the Jeff Hardy now, even when he went to AEW, is not the Jeff Hardy that we got years ago that could do all that crazy shit. Pain and age are definitely a thing, man, and allowing him to do those things, we'll get into that. But I'm not blaming the company. I'm not blaming them.
And I totally respect that. But
yeah,
I understand doing a crazy spot here and there. But doing it every week on a television show that's not a pay-per-view that people are paying a lot of money for, free television, that is where they fucked up. And
they let him
annoying.
Yeah, they let him do that fucking spot. It was like an inside spot from a fucking high
on
up,
like the merch table. I think he did like a swan off off of like
it was
something into like a
when he first
table.
got there. Yeah, when he first got there, and then the
week after off the entrance stage, I think.
And then fucking the biggest what the fuck.
The chairs with Darby too.
That was the biggest what the fuck, Tony. Like, why are you letting him do this? Like, that is
an
like
Owen Hart Cup tournament, remind you.
This is what I'm saying. Yes, once a year, once every like 6 months, cool. Like that will give him time to, heal. You can write him off TV for a little bit. Cool. But every fucking week to every other fucking week, man, that is insane. And something needs to happen. Like, something needs to change. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Not every fucking week and not as regularly as he was doing.
But I am happy to see what TNA does because they've never fucked up with him. And I'm excited to see what he does. I think that he's going to use this time to really build up some more credibility to show WWE that he's not like unreliable.
I just want him to stay good. I want him to stay good full time. Obviously, I'm not Jeff Hardy's fucking family, but I want him to stay good forever. But in reality, I really want him to be good enough to finish his fucking career. That's it. And then, once you're done with his career, I think once he's done with his wrestling career, his addiction will be over because he's not going to need it anymore. He's not.
I think that he'll just continue to do art, make music. Like
I think he will too. Yeah.
And I think now that he's been
the scapegoat.
Honestly, like the last year, if you think about it, like he's been really focusing more on his music and art. And maybe that's
it's a really transitional period
right now. Find that balance, like with real life. And
I think Jeff will. I will 100% say that I think Jeff will 100% do music after his life of wrestling, and I think eventually we might see Jeff in some movies, man. Like I think Jeff might honestly belong in a creative standpoint. I could see him in shows as a special character. I could see him in a certain amount of films. And again, musically, I think that art will always be a part of Jeff, but I think that musically, this is his transition. I think that him doing so much music, bringing it into his wrestling world, is introducing it to the audience so they can continue to keep up with him after wrestling.
Hell yeah. We're rooting for Jeff Hardy here on We Are Wrestling.
Same here, man. Always Jeff Hardy lover, just a concerned fan.
Absolutely. But moving on now to our next weekly recap for this week, something you and I definitely weren't even thinking about, weren't even talking. Surprisingly, no dirt sheet writers talked about this.
We covered it.
This past Monday on Raw, we saw the return of Seth freaking Rollins, who will be Damian Priest's next opponent at the Money in the Bank. What's your thoughts on his return? Do you think it's too soon? It was only 72 days that he was away.
I'm kind of surprised that he's back this soon. I didn't expect to see him back till the Rumble at least. But they also said it wasn't going to be long that he was going to be gone for, and Money in the Bank is a couple weeks away. Let's make this a hypothetical situation real quick. I smell a triple threat coming up at SummerSlam. I smell a triple threat coming up. That's all I'm going to say is I smell a triple threat for a World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and CM Punk. Because they all fucking hate each other, minus CM Punk and Seth
Can't
Rollins.
happen. Can't happen.
Why can't it not happen?
The ring general Gunter won King of the Ring, so he gets a shot at SummerSlam.
Oh, so whoever wins that, you think it's going to be Damian? You think that Gunther's going to be the next world champion?
I swear to God, it better not be Damian versus Gunter. Like, heel versus heel, McIntyre and Priest. The build-up was fucking dog shit. So I'm hoping Seth Rollins wins. Or
I
to do
hope
a triple
Seth
threat.
wins.
They could do a triple threat: Rollins versus Priest versus Gunther.
They could, but we're also aiming up for Drew versus Seth CM Punk at SummerSlam. So
Yep.
it's hard because now we're in, like I said, we're in the very unpredictable area of WWE now. So
All I
I'm
know
like,
is Ben, Seth Rollins coming back kind of ruined the script a little bit.
especially this soon. Yeah.
We're fantasizing WrestleMania 41 when he was coming back. But I will say this, I am happy to see him back. He looks healthy. He looks great. And honestly, I could get behind him versus Damian Priest. I think that they've already had great chemistry last year when Rollins was the world champion. I believe Cam and myself, we were there during Rollins' first title defense in Hartford, Connecticut against Damian Priest. And they've had matches, they've had a little bit of a rivalry, and I honestly can get behind Rollins versus Priest. And I think this is what Priest kind of needs to add some credibility to his championship. But the thing that just throws like a wrench in all of this is Gunther. Because like I don't want Priest to just lose the Rollins, because then it really feels like he's a transitional champion and everything that I feared of has happened. But I don't want like Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam because they're both heels. And it seems like they can't make up their mind with Damian Priest, and it seems like now they're kind of going in the heel direction. So
that's
like, man, Rollins really threw a wrench in all of this, but I'm happy he's back.
I'm happy he's back too.
They need the star power.
I know they need the star power, but I'm like, can any fucking wrestler just heal from their goddamn injuries? Like, I remember back in the day where when we lost somebody, we weren't seeing them for almost a year. Like, I knew that wrestling was going to be a little fucked up for a while.
Yeah, like Randy Orton with that collarbone injury.
Like, it was legitimate time off. Like, they came back looking great. Like, Triple H coming back in 07 compared to when he left in 06 was incredible. Like, one of the best transformations from injury, period.
Well, that's the thing nowadays, Ben. With all the technology that we have in 2024, a lot of the wrestlers are deciding not to do surgeries. And they think it's more beneficial that they go through like the chiropractors and like the therapy.
Yeah, they rehab it instead. Yeah, I know. But at the same time, I'm like, we're like, look at the long term of your health for your life, not in like post career, because like, yeah, you can work through these injuries, you can rehab it all you want. But remember what the Undertaker said on Chris Van Vliet's podcast. It is very hard when you've had injuries, when you are older, that when you take breaks, it hurts even more.
That is true.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, when you take that break for retirement, all of it's going to hit you all at once, and you're going to be dealing with it lifelong. And that's what leads to addiction. That's what leads to a lot of crime. That's what I'm saying. Is like, let them get the surgeries, let them properly heal and rehab it, and then let them perform and make the right decisions for your health going forward, because you might be, missing out on a lot of family shit. It can prevent you from doing a lot of things, event-wise that are just crucial to like children and everything. It's things do add up. And then as you're sitting, that adrenaline's gone. And when you're sitting in that injury you've been rehabbing instead of repairing it, the pain is going to start to show up. It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. You're going to get stiffer and stiffer. And if you ever thought about making a comeback, you're not going to be able to now because you're too fucked to do it. Your body's too broken down. You should have taken care of it years prior. That's what I'm saying. That's all.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the last few people that have rehabbed their injuries and they've come back, so far it's Seth Rollins, MJF, and soon it's going to be Rhea Ripley, because I believe right now she didn't get surgery. She's deciding to rehab it. Dirty Dom, I think he did rehab as well. So it seems like they're really going in this new direction. And even though right now, like the health benefits are pretty good for people that are choosing rehabbing over surgeries, we don't know that 100% with professional wrestling. And I think time is going to tell.
I'm going to opt Rhea out of the conversation though, because she is slated for an extended absence. Like we're looking at like a full-time recovery because of, one, she's been the GOAT for like the last 2 years since she's been carrying fucking the women's division on her back. So I think her rehabbing it, there's a little bit of a gray area there because she's not performing, she's not making appearances, she's home,
And all
she's
depends
not
really
doing
on the
anything
injuries
ludicrous.
too.
Exactly. Like, yeah, she only, I think, dislocated her shoulder. She didn't get she didn't need surgery or anything. I think she just dislocated it to a point where she did need to severely rehab it, or she was going to need surgery because any, further damage on it could probably, result in something a lot worse than it was already, kind of made apparent. But yeah, her rehab, I think, is different because she's taking legitimate, like, time off. She's not coming back sporadically and doing like one-offs or anything. She's genuinely taking the time to heal. Where Dom, he's in between. So
yeah. Plus, too, they've been kind of keeping him safe in like tag matches and stuff. But with Seth Rollins,
God, yeah.
he does look good, and I really do hope that he does stay healthy and he has a pretty solid run. Because honestly, I did miss him on TV. I just hope they don't throw him right back into the world title picture. But we're just gonna have
they did. I mean, they already did.
Yeah, but he's not the champ. Yeah, but he's not the champ. So like, I'm okay.
Yeah, he's not the champ.
And it makes sense.
He's not the champ. He's not the champ, but they did immediately throw him back into the world title picture.
Hey, as long as he's not holding that championship and it's like not stagnant, then I'm all right.
This
could help Damian Priest. This could.
It's true, but I feel like the end of his title run was honestly the best. Like, and it's unfortunate. Like, it was getting good as he was giving it up. It
was the beginning. Like, there's a long period, like when he was feuding with Shinsuke, where it was just like I want Shinsuke to get put over. And then,
it was a brand new title, so you have to build the pristine. There wasn't pristine.
Yes,
I totally,
so, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
He made the best of it at the end, and it was great.
I still love Rollins, though. I still love Rollins.
The belt is starting to actually, and it's starting to feel prestigious now. So.
For the cards that were thrown against him, having him like be in 2 storylines during the biggest time of the year, he did the best he could, and I gotta give him
nobody
credit.
else could have done it. Nobody else could have done it.
Exactly. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling Weekly Recap. This past Tuesday on NXT, we saw Frankie Kazarian and Joe Hendry from TNA make their NXT debuts in the Battle Royal to determine the next #1 contender for Trick Williams. According to Fightful, Hendry is expected to make more appearances for NXT in the future. Officials were said to be very happy with the reactions Hendry received from fans, and TNA was happy that the storyline with Kazarian was continued on NXT, and some people wish he had gotten more extended appearance. The video of Hendry's NXT debut has hit over 6 million views on YouTube, making it the most watched video for the channel since WrestleMania 40. What's your thoughts on NXT bringing in Frankie Kazarian and Joe Hendry?
So, as you know, I'm not familiar with either, but I've heard you speaking on both of their behalves over the last.
I think I said it last week.
Getting to know, yeah.
I think we talked about we fantasized who should show up, and I think I said Kazarian and Hendry.
You did, but you've also just been talking about it, throughout the years, and you've been mentioning who they are. I have no prior real background. I think one of them were in that last pay-per-view that I think it was Hard to Kill that we both watched. Yep. I think one of them was performed on it, and you were talking about them, and you have the history on them. But my thoughts towards the matter, hell yeah. I love seeing anybody from any territory that is a popular wrestler in the circuit getting some love on a big stage. Mind you, NXT is the third brand, more developmental, but getting the reactions he's getting now, that's already securing his bag for when he's in the move. He's inevitably there are certain stars with star power. And I use the word stars because they're standing out the most. Their names are, reaching people like me, for example. Mm-hmm. I'm a casual TNA viewer. I'm a casual AEW viewer, a super casual AEW viewer, mind you. Super casual. But, I hear these things, and I catch some things. So I am a fan of anybody that gets a good reaction and is getting hyped and is getting the flowers that they deserve. And I am really excited to be exposed to more. I'm excited to, see what kind of success that he can bring and what kind of echoes he can make for TNA while also being on a WWE camera. You know, I think it's just all in all, it's the wrestling world is thriving. Everybody's fucking eating, and TNA is really getting the bag right now. Like I like, and I'm only saying TNA is getting the bag right now because they've been deserving of this exposure for so many years now, and they are in the perfect era. The perfect superstars are coming over. The perfect superstars are going over. We are in such a cool ass fucking boom period in terms of like collaboration in the new WWE. Like, again, I'm going to circle back around to this. Chris Van Vliet's podcast with The Undertaker. He said it. The atmosphere, and like, I felt like he was even like, he kind of caught himself with like just how like lax he was being about it, because I think he didn't want to get on Vince's bad side. But he said it a couple times. He's like, oh, totally different environment. He's like, it's fucking crazy. It's a totally different environment. He's like, it feels calmer. There's not so much pressure there. And that's what we're getting, dude. Everybody that has had anything to do with WWE, anything lately, has said nothing but positive things about what the backstage fucking vibe is. And apparently it's like at its all-time best. Like people
think about it from this perspective, Ben. Like when it comes to work, like when you have people that actually want to show up to work and it's a good environment, you're going to get better results. And we're seeing it right now with WWE.
Exactly. And again, you know, because of that, the right superstars, the right company, you know, they're eating, man. They're really fucking eating. Even Japan right now is eating with fucking Io Sky and AJ Styles heading over there real soon for Noah. You know, like I'm really fucking excited, bro. Like I am so excited, and I'm also excited for the inevitable return of the Phenomenal One in a TNA fucking ring. I'm very excited.
Needs to happen.
It needs to happen. I'm sorry, but if you're sending the Juggernaut over here, we need to send the Phenomenal One over there. We need to. The Juggernaut is like Jordan Grace right now is like AJ Styles level in the women's division of TNA. She is a legend over there, bro. The most transformative fucking superstar, period. We saw what she looked like and how she was performing when she first got there. She is a completely different fucking animal now. And then AJ back then is a different animal to AJ now. And then throwing him back to where he made the biggest splash of his career. Monstrous pop, dude. That is history making right there. And it's been years since he's been in TNA. Fucking years.
I want to see it. Slammiversary or Bound for Glory. Their biggest show.
Give me anything. Give me a fucking stellar ass match. Reopen some fucking history. I want to see it.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I'm so happy for Joe Hendry. I had to do that. Man, seeing Frankie Kazarian, I'm going to start off with Frankie Kazarian. Seeing him get an opportunity to perform in a WWE ring, whether it's NXT or the main roster, just seeing him getting that opportunity, he fucking deserves it. I was talking about this earlier this week on the Around the Ropes podcast with John Blaine and our buddy Old School Phil.
Old School
Man, Phil. Frankie Kazarian has been busting his ass in the independent circuit and TNA for over 20 years. So for him to finally get an opportunity to perform in a WWE ring, in a battle royal, I thought was so freaking cool. And he's somebody that I've been watching all the way back to original TNA back in like 06. But man, Joe Hendry is somebody that I am a fucking mark for. I love the gimmick, love the character. I was a fan of his stuff going all the way back to ICW, which is a UK promotion that Drew Galloway did a lot of stuff for. Hendry, he was also a part of them, and he would
ICW was one of the first like British like wrestling platforms, right? Because they didn't really have a lot of shit out in like the Scotland, like Great Britain area for professional.
They were
one
of the bigger, more established ones.
Yes.
Which man, Joe Hendry, like what caught my eye was the diss tracks that he would do against his opponents before coming out. Like he had this one.
Discussed that.
Like he had this like one match where he went against somebody and he came out friggin' doing the Undertaker, the Rollins, and like a little tricycle, and like made it his own thing, which is so cool and so creative. And like he would just do these, he would just do all of these awesome things Like, Ben, you have to spend one rainy day and binge watch Joe Hendry because I think you're going to fall in love with him. I generally think he's going to be one of your favorite wrestlers. If you go down that rabbit hole, I promise you.
Fucking less.
You are going to love Joe Hendry, and I guarantee you, after you watch all this cool stuff of his with McIntyre, with Kurt Angle, you are going to go back to WWE's YouTube channel, and you're going to watch his friggin' NXT appearance probably 100 times.
I
Dude,
saw he was Joe Hendry was a fucking Joe Hendry was in a segment with Rusev and Lana at one point too, right? Back in like 2013.
Yep, he was extra on that episode of Raw.
Yep. I saw that. Yeah, I actually watched that recently, shortly after his appearance.
And the fact that he is breaking a WWE record in 2024, getting 6 million views. A TNA guy. More views than Mercedes Moné, Will Ospreay, all the debuts in 2024.
Mercedes is garbage. Okada's turning into a bitch.
No, Ben.
His career.
Ben.
What?
The one time I'm actually acknowledging something that's not Mercedes Moné. You need to zip those lips because I am right now. I think I'm making everybody here happy by saying what I'm saying. Joe Hendry, man, the fact that he's getting this much buzz, I love this for not only TNA, but I love this for himself because I think that he can be a big star in WWE someday. Once that contract,
called talent. It's called talent. They value that.
No, Mercedes will. We're not getting into this. This is about Joe Hendry right now. This is about my local
staying
hero.
True to yourself. Yeah, staying true to yourself.
This is about Joe Hendry right now, not Mercedes, not Will. I was just making an example, saying that him getting all these views is a great thing, and it just shows how talented he is.
All right, I'm not.
Let's not make this about Mercedes and Will.
I know. But I'm not flaming them. I'm just saying this is what happens when this is a pure example of you don't need to fix what's not. Joe Hendry has just been fucking Joe Hendry, and look at all this buzz he's fucking gotten. Okada's saying bitch constantly, which is kind of tarnishing what he was in Japan. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's the different shit that is ruining them. Kind of. I've been seeing a whole lot more negative shit lately because of like this whole gimmick he's been doing. Like, yeah, it was cool the first couple times, but now it's almost like, oh, I pressed the wrong button, bitch. Like, what?
Yeah, no, that's understandable. Okay, Okada's understandable, but Will Ospreay, he has been doing great in AEW.
All right, Ospreay, I'll give the
like
most
I can get why you feel the way you feel with some of the comments he's made on the interviews and stuff.
I'll give you the pass for Ospreay, but the other two don't got a pass.
Okay, and that's totally okay with me.
But I'll end it at that.
All right, we drew a line. We drew a line in the sand.
We ain't crossing.
You're happy. I'm happy. We're all happy.
Boom.
And I'm very happy that Joe Hendry was on NXT. And the fact that we're going to be getting him more, I'm very excited to see what they do with him.
I want to see him, man.
But one thing I do want to say is I want to see the reaction from a SmackDown or a Raw or a PLE crowd. I want to see if they sing to Hendry's song. I want to see it. And I think we might get
real buzz. That's the real buzz. Like,
I think we might get
NXT is a good start though, because it got a pop. So, like you said, the social media coverage, 6.5 million in like 14 hours or something like that is insane across social media for a TNA star. That is bigger, way bigger than Jordan Grace. And Jordan Grace is well fucking known.
Hands from side to side. I fucking love him. I'm so happy. All right, I think I put him over enough now. Moving on to our next We Are Wrestling recap. The Owen Hart Cup bracket has come out, and I figured we can just do some like little prediction here, just a quick prediction on it. I know you don't really watch AEW often, but you do know some of the names in here, so I thought we could talk about it a little bit. So here we go. This is the men's bracket. We have Claudio, Pac, Bryan Danielson, a New Japan guy,
was fucking injured.
Ray Phoenix, Jay White, Jeff Jarrett, and a wild card. So that's pretty much a surprise.
I thought Pac was injured.
Pac has come back, man. He's been back the last couple of months, and surprisingly, this is the longest he has not been injured.
I'm going to tell you this right now. We're going to see, like, this is easy to predict for the first bracket. So we already know that there's going to be a 5-star between Claudio and Brian for sure. You already know that that's what they're cooking. They're going to do like a huge Blackpool combat, like fucking, face off, even though they respect each other. So we're going to see one of those two in the
Pac
finals.
and Claudio wrestled on Dynamite, and I think Pac beat him.
I think Claudio's going to take this one, and I think Bryan Danielson's going to take his, and I think we're going to see like exactly. Hear me out. That's the script. All right. Hear me out. Now, the other side, I don't know who the wild card is, but the wild card is likely going to make it to the finals because you wouldn't have a wild card in there if it wasn't going to be big. So I'm excited to see who that is. So I'm not really going to comment on that. I don't think Jeff Jarrett's going to move forward unless it's some bitch of a wild card, which I don't see happening because they really need the ratings boost. So I think whoever the wild card is going to be heading to the finals. Between Ray Phoenix and Jay White is literally Switchblade. So, I mean, I think he's definitely going to move on to the finals to face whoever the wild card is.
Real quick, I do want to stop you real quick.
Ray Phoenix did wrestle, though.
Pac and Claudio did wrestle on Dynamite, and Pac actually beat Claudio.
I know, you already said that.
Yeah, so Claudio is eliminated from it. You said Claudio and Danielson were going to fight.
Oh, so then it's probably going to be Pac and Danielson then. So it's going to be Pac and Danielson then, 100%. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. But on the other side, though, yeah, wild card between Jeff Jarrett and the wild card. I think the wild card's going to move forward. Jay White, Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix is fucking insane. Like, I already know that. Jay White, that was Switchblade. So I have to kind of just go with my gut here and say that Jay White's going to go through and, go against whoever the wild card is. So, I don't know who to predict for the wild card, so I can't really comment on their finals. But I think we're going to see Bryan Danielson in like the final match. So I'm almost positive. If the wild card isn't something that's going to further a story, yes. But if it's something that's going to further a story, I think the wild card's going to win.
Yeah. So with this tournament, just a quick prediction. Pac already won. I think it is going to be Pac versus Bryan Danielson. And then over on the other side, I think Jay White will beat Ray Phoenix. Wild card will beat Jeff. But I will say this. I love that Jeff Jarrett is in this tournament because obviously he was one of Owen Hart's best friends. So for him to actually get an opportunity to perform in such a prestigious tournament, I do like that they're giving him that because Owen was one of his best friends. But I think the finals, it's going to be Jay White versus Pac. And I think Pac is going to win. And he's going to go to All In to face Swerve or Will Ospreay. And I think that Pac's going to finally get an opportunity because when you think about it, with Pac, All In's going to be taking place at Wembley. And Pac is from the United Kingdom. So they could bring in like a hometown hero involved in this match. But then again, I could see Danielson too because Danielson, he is a big name. It will probably draw some more people to go to All In and Wembley. And he's already got an established career, especially with like him retiring as a full-time wrestler by the end of the year. Throwing him in this could be interesting.
Yeah, Pac is just so fucking injury prone, man. Like he's one of those people that, again, I just see as like one of those liabilities, he is so injury prone. I'm not saying he's not a phenomenal fucking athlete and wrestler. That'd be a fucking lie. The dude is one of like the greatest bigger set high flyers I've ever
fucking arrow.
Woo! Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's the chef's kiss. But the dude is injury prone as fuck, and I'm not gonna ignore that.
I respect that. So now let's get into the women's bracket real quick. We have Toni Storm, JB Hayter. Hold up, wait a minute.
Why is Ruby Soho in there? I thought she was pregnant.
Oh, this is the old bracket. Oops. Okay, I'll just cover this one. We're not going to
discuss the women's.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the women's. I totally botched that. Wow.
I was like, I thought Ruby Soho was pregnant.
Do better. Obviously, I have the script. I know who's going to win this. It's going to be Mariah May. She's going to win the tournament because she's right now with Timeless Toni Storm. They're going to fight it All In, and Mariah May is going to beat Toni Storm for the title. They're already setting it up. If you watch AEW, you know I got the script. But
so whoever wins the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Cup, they get a chance at a Wembley for the title?
Yep.
Oh shit, that's actually
So
kind of dope. Nice.
I like it. They're adding some prestige to the tournament as
I
it
like that.
deserves to be.
I like that, and it leads to Wembley. I like that a lot.
Me too. So, up next, we have the comment of the week, and of course, the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast episode 113.
What's up, everyone? This is Matthew Bruder, the king of bros. I just want to say, if you ain't listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast, bro, you're missing out. The king listens, and you need to too, bro.
Collecting has always had a special place in my heart, going all the way back to when I was a kid. I remember my parents taking me to Toys R Us and waking up on Christmas morning to a bunch of new action figures. I had bins filled with thousands of rare WWE, WCW, ECW, and TNA figures through the years until, unfortunately, I ended up selling my whole childhood without knowing the true value of my collection. 2 years after I made that horrible decision, the pandemic hit, and I realized there was a part of me that felt missing, and that was collecting. My whole life, I have loved collecting wrestling figures, wrestling memorabilia, classic video games, Nickelodeon stuff, sneakers, Funko Pops, and even Angry Birds. As time went by, I decided I wanted to get back into collecting, except this time, document it and rebuild my collection over on Best One Donnie. So, if you want to go back into time and relive my nostalgic memories, subscribe now. We're back! And Ben, I'm just going to let you take it away.
All right, guys, every week on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we have a segment called the Comment of the Week. And this week's Comment of the Week was on the Wyatt Sick6 reaction for their debut at Clash of the Monday after the Clash of the Castle. And the comment is from NatsFan3114. I know how Roman returns. So Jay gets destroyed by the Wyatt faction, and that leads to Jacob Fatu, Jimmy, and Roman to return to help out. Now, I actually kind of understand that, because if you think about it, Roman was the one that took the fucking title off of him out of fucking nowhere. That was one of the last that was the last time he held the title. Roman took that from him.
Holy shit.
So they're coming back for blood.
In the Thunderdome.
Notice
SummerSlam
too,
2020.
They debuted right after Jay's match, and Jay had an exclusive interview where he said he didn't want the smoke from them. This could lead to a Wyatt Six fucking faction and eventual fucking feud with Roman Reigns.
Wow.
They're bigger than meets the eye, bro. And that's why I wanted to talk about it.
You see, I wasn't
thinking
thinking deep into that.
He has a point.
Wow.
He has a point, and you actually hearted that comment. So he has a point. And that's why I'm like, he's kind of cooking something. So I wanted to talk about it. What are your feelings?
So, obviously, our main event topic's Wyatt Six, but talking about this in particular with Jey Uso, Bloodline, Wyatt Six, man, it would be pretty interesting to see what's going to happen. I think the only realistic, logical way that they can get Jey Uso back in the Bloodline storyline is having him win the Money in the Bank and cashing in successfully on the championship. That's how they're going to be able to put him on the SmackDown brand with Solo, with Roman, Jimmy, the whole family. You already know the drill.
Yeah.
But, man, after the feud with Solo and them, they could definitely do something there. That would be really interesting, honestly.
Yeah. And
There's
like I said,
because that's the thing that makes this so interesting about Wyatt Six, and I'm gonna stop after I say this because I know I'm gonna fucking continue talking about it. The cliffhanger that they left us on this past Monday, anything can fucking happen, and that's why I love that segment. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm. And I just wanted you to notice too, like, not only did it happen right after the J match, but if you notice, the front half of the arena where like the entrance shit was dark the entire match. It was completely dark. Obviously they were setting up for it, but he's got a point, and I can't ignore it, because I'm like, Roman was the one that came in out of nowhere, wrecked him, took the title, and left.
But look at all the people that were left like out during the whole thing. There's a lot of people left out. Man. Plus, there's like a shadow of like Uncle Howdy like throughout the show. Like when Rollins was there, they had the shot of him. So, my God, I can't wait
Yeah,
until Monday
dude.
on Raw. I can't wait.
All I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna end it here. All I'm gonna say is this is a slow burn coming. They're coming after everything Roman loves, including Jay. That's why I'm saying, dude. Like, and the Fireflies, like, that it's not for nothing, bro. It's not for
I
nothing.
forgot about the motherfucking Fireflies.
Yeah, the Fireflies, the Yeeter of Worlds. Yeah,
Who
dog.
who made that
this is some
comment?
disrespect. It's Nats fan 3114.
Nats fan 314. Wow. This might be like one of the best comment of the weeks. Like, it makes so much sense.
I'm saying,
Wow.
man, like I said, he's got
Dude,
like
my
when I saw
mind
it, I
is
was like, he's
fucking
cooking.
like scrambled.
It's
now.
melting. It's melting. It's like melted ice cream. I'm telling you, bro.
The
Like, it's fucking
Fireflies.
insane. The Fireflies.
And it did start
Roman's
with Jay was in
history.
the crowd celebrating the win too.
Yep, and it also that, and again, Roman was the one that took the title off him. That's
We're
the last
cooking.
piece of gold he had, and he lost it because of Roman. I'm telling you, that's the last time he was
WWE's cooking.
champion.
This is
It's
good
long.
shit.
It's a long-term storytelling. Like, for example, Nikki Cross, her descent into insanity. Months ago, she was just showing up in active matches, just walking across the ring, and just walked out of the arena. Her just dumping the 24/7 title. Her standing in the middle of the battle royal, just staring into the camera. She was an almost superhero. It's her descent into madness was you live yourself long. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And we saw her descent into madness. That is where I'm excited to talk about the main event. Anyways, Nats fan 3114, thank you so much for your comment of the week. One of the best discussions we've had in a long time, guys. If you guys want your comment featured right here on the We Are Wrestling podcast, make sure that you comment on anything across social media or right here on the YouTube channel to be featured on every week's comment of the week. And now, Don, I hand the keys and the reins back to you.
All it takes is one comment, and the only way that you
was
can
a
get
juicy one.
featured is by leaving a comment. Interact. Get out of your little social bubble. So now, with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Starting things off, speaking of a member of the Wyatt Sick family, well, his wife is not happy. Indy Hartwell shared a photo on her social media this week, hinting at a divorce with Dexter Lumis. Why do you think she's divorcing him now?
I don't fucking know. I didn't even know that they were getting divorced.
Yeah,
So,
she posted
I
this
don't
little picture that's like right there.
divorce $99. Is that what it says?
Yes,
Divorce
it's a sign.
$99. So I may see. All right,
She's
this is
not
one
a
of those
happy
things
wife
I don't.
then.
This is one of those things I don't like talking about on the podcast because it's like more of someone's personal life, especially with their love life, and I knew nothing about it, so it feels like a personal matter. But then it's also turning into a whole whopping pile of shit drama. So I don't know.
They're not
how to
married in
feel
real
about
life.
it.
It's all storyline, Ben.
Oh, see,
This has
I
all
didn't know
been
that. I don't
storyline.
look into that shit. I don't look into that shit because like I'm not an intrusive fan. So I'm not
I'm
look
a
into
reality
that shit.
TV fan, so I fucking love this shit.
I know. Man, I'm not an intrusive fan, so I don't do it. But maybe it's because of like what happened. If she posted it after the debut, that's probably just for some comical fucking shit, and that's funny.
Well, it's
Fuck you,
sad.
Donnie.
Love
Fuck
is
you,
just a
Donnie, making me
beautiful
look like an
thing.
asshole.
Love
Making
is
me
a
look like an
beautiful
asshole
thing.
on the show. Fuck you.
And during their love, the only words that Dexter Lumis said was yes. And that was when they got married. Besides that, he never said a word. What a beautiful love relationship that they had. It's so sad that it's over.
Bro, fuck, we need to get to our main event ASAP because I just realized something about Dexter Lumis. So you remember the angles when fucking he was coming out and just like ambushing people's matches, like he got taken out with AJ Styles?
Oh, when he took out
every single
Miz,
member,
right?
dude, every single member of the Wyatt Six was going through some kind of downfall. Have you noticed that? Even with Bo Dallas not getting used, Eric Rowan being released and both of his best friends passing away, fucking Joe Gacy on NXT with some of his recent losses and shit. Like I've been watching a lot of Joe Gacy shit, and like his descent is like been building for a while. Like him, like just showing up as like a commentator, him just fucking around, dicking around. Like this is really weird.
Yeah, his little
And then
faction
Nikki
broke up.
Cross. Fuck, dude. Like this has all been burning everywhere for a while, and it makes sense, dude. And notice that all of them just disappeared off the face of the earth for a while too. Right after all of their shenanigans, they just disappeared.
Well,
And
in the VR, well, there's one thing I'm gonna say here before we do move on to our next news and rumors topic. In the We Are Wrestling rumor mill right now, so take this with a pinch of salt and pepper. Dexter Lumis right now is hanging out with Nikki Cross a little bit, and maybe that's why Indy Hartwell is filing a divorce. But we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens on WWE programming. I feel sorry for the two. I hope that they find love, peace, and happiness. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Let's get serious now. WWE is bringing back Bad Blood. According to PW Insider, there's been creative pitches to bring back the old pay-per-view name. Per the reports, the idea would be to use it for this October as a way to tie into the anniversary of the very first Hell in the Cell match between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, which also featured debut of the Kane character in 1997. How do you feel about WWE bringing back Bad Blood in 2024? The last one was in 2004.
I mean, a good old 20th anniversary don't ever hurt, especially when it was such a great pay-per-view. Two, I mean, come on, let's face it, dude. Triple H was only saying shit about not going back and how they don't need blood, X, Y, and Z, because Vince was still there. Notice we have been getting more color than anything lately, and it's at the right moment. Chad Gable, Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, fucking everywhere, bro. Like we are getting blood again, but for the right causes and not just to bleed because they fucking they sneeze too hard. I'm fucking big excited.
Or John Moxley brushing his teeth until they start bleeding.
Or just dude fucking trying to hold in a fart, finally rips ass and just starts bleeding out his eye. But no, I'm just saying, it's time. And I think that we are finally heading in the right direction for WWE. And like I said, we're going into the Netflix era. And I think they're doing this to kind of be like, all right, so we're going to test some things on TV and see who fucks with it. And oh, excuse me. Jesus
Are you bleeding?
I might be a little bit in my asshole, but I 100%. I think that they're doing all of this color and everything to, again, kind of see what we're doing, get the tests, see who likes it, see who isn't, see how it tests on screen when we go into the Netflix era, because we're doing a slow transition into more adult shit. Look at Liv Morgan fucking riding Dom Mysterio. You really think we would have saw that 2 years ago? No. We are heading back to a spicy area.
For those.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We are heading into an adult era again, and we're heading to Netflix. Notice all of this shit is happening on Raw and not SmackDown.
That is true.
Because Raw is going to fucking Netflix. Notice Bad Blood will likely primarily feature Raw superstars.
Drew McIntyre, CM Punk.
Like I'm saying, bro, it's going to be a very colorful pay-per-view. It's going to be a very colorful pay-per-view. And we're not
talking about the rainbow, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about red blood.
We're going to be watching the world through blood. And I'm very excited because it has been a long time coming. We are definitely reaching that. We're going to be on a TV MA level, likely on Netflix. Not even TV 14. It's going to be TV MA. It's going to be mature audience. Netflix, do you understand? They are literally going to be able to say fuck with no filter on Netflix. Because Netflix literally allows so much crazy shit which we know is on Netflix.
Yep.
WWE is going to be able to get away with a lot on Monday Night Raw. I'm telling you this right now.
Yeah.
They are going to get away with a lot for this new era, and I'm excited for it. So what are your thoughts, bud?
I love Ruthless Aggression pay-per-views. So anytime we can bring back a Bad Blood, an Armageddon, and No Mercy, I am all for it. Come
No Way
on
Out.
in. Give it to me. But this better not be a situation where we don't get blood, because the pay-per-view name is literally called Bad Blood. So I do want to see some blood. And this is like their way of like having a Hell in the Cell matches so that they don't have to do the PLE Hell in the Cell, which thank goodness I don't like stipulation names. The only one I'm okay with really is Money in the Bank, even though obviously we want it back at WrestleMania. But getting back into Bad Blood, what I have to say here with this is Hell in the Cell. This is what I'm focused on right now because we have not seen a Triple H Hell in the Cell booked match yet. And I want the intensity back. Like we finally got that with real quick. Hold up before you do talk.
I'm sorry. Continue. Go ahead.
Man, we brought back I Quit with AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes. They made the stipulation matter. We got color.
We did.
When it mattered. And now getting into Bad Blood with the Hell in the Cell, it needs the matter, and I want color. Because I remember back in Ruthless Aggression, Batista versus Triple H inside that Hell in the Cell. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. Freaking even going to Attitude Era. Cactus Jack versus Triple H. Hell in the Cell, we need color. It needs to be a fucking horror scene.
All I'm gonna say, and this is all I wanted to say, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end my section on here. I feel bad for both of those people that are going to be performing in Hell in a Cell because they are going to be the highlight of that show and they are going to hurt very bad for a while after it because I think we are going back to the classic, like Hell in a Cell is going to be like a monster to see on TV type of deal. Like it's not going to be for the weak-hearted.
All right. So my last thing I'm going to say, and this is like an early prediction, the two matches I could see happening inside Hell in the Cell at Bad Blood, it's either going to be Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk if they decide to continue that feud after SummerSlam, or I think, because nobody's talking about this one, Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns.
I could see that. I could 100% see that.
I think it's going to start the feud towards, I think after Money in the Bank, we're going to start seeing Roman Reigns back pretty soon. And I think that we're going to be getting, like, I don't think right away we're going to get him in Solo. But I think like going into Bad Blood, it's going to get to that point with the feud where, man, to be the head of the table, they're going to battle for that head of the table.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I think Roman's coming back at the end of the payper-view at fucking Money in the Bank, and that's going to set up the feud for him in Solo at SummerSlam. I think that's what's going on.
Money in the Bank. That would
either Money in the Bank or but here's the thing, they're also teasing Solo versus Cody. So I think that he's going to come out.
I forgot about that.
I think Solo versus I think that it's going to be Solo versus Cody at Money in the Bank, and Roman's going to come out to Cody's aid at the very end of the match when the Bloodline is like jumping the fuck out of Cody. And Randy Orton and Kevin Owens will take it up. And Randy Orton and Kevin Owens will be there to help even out the odds because Jay and Jimmy are not taken yet.
But there is one more theory I do have as well. What if at Money in the Bank, we get a 6-man tag match? Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton versus Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. And then, hold on, we go into SummerSlam, Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes for the championship. And right there, man, Roman Reigns, because Bloodline interferes, Roman Reigns comes out and helps Cody retain the championship.
There's that.
With Jimmy and Jay.
What about, there's that, but for the sake of the build for SummerSlam, because I think that they're aiming, no, you might have something there. I'm actually thinking because I think
about
that
it. They do a 6-man tag match.
War games. I think it's going to be the Bloodline Civil War.
Yep.
Yeah.
In November.
I think that's going to be the big
match.
match.
And then Bad Blood, because by the time Roman comes out and tosses Solo, well, he doesn't cost Solo. He technically just evens the numbers out because Bloodline's going to try to help Solo win the championship. Roman and Jimmy will come back and they'll pretty much even out the numbers. And then by then, Roman and Solo, you could build a storyline there, go into Bad Blood, Hell in the Cell, Battle of the Table. Battle for head of the table. Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa inside the Hell in the Cell. And then think about it. November is freaking War Games. We get the Bloodline Civil War. I got the fucking script.
Yeah, I think
We're cooking. We're cooking, Ben.
It's gonna be weird seeing Roman align himself with Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens, considering he literally has beef with every single one of them.
He's gonna even out the numbers, man. I think so.
I think
happening.
I think
At
SummerSlam's gonna
SummerSlam.
be insane. I think SummerSlam's
Roman
gonna be
Reigns
insane.
will show up. I don't think he's gonna be like in a match or anything. He's gonna
Yeah.
show up and get that massive pop when they friggin' even out the numbers.
It
Solo
is gonna
Cody
be
will happen at SummerSlam.
insane.
Money in the Bank,
I
6
think-
man. Yep.
Bro, it's gonna be insane seeing Roman align himself with every single person he's fucked over, and it's gonna be weird seeing him come back as a babyface, but as the tribal chief. It's gonna be fucking dude. This summer we are gonna be eating like kings. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. We're gonna be eating like kings.
And we just had a good preview on Raw, man. It was the first time Raw was very entertaining since WrestleMania time. So
Yeah, brother.
things are looking great. So moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. The Undertaker did a Q&A for his podcast, 6 Feet Under, on Patreon. And he gave his thoughts on AEW and Tony Khan and said this, and I quote, "Hopefully, a lot of people don't think the way I do, but hopefully one day AEW gets their crap together and generally creates some competition. That's probably not a popular take from most WWE insiders, but the way I look at it, competition only gonna make you better." Taker's co-host brought up, while AEW has great talent, the behind-the-scenes issues must be resolved. Taker said that WCW made WWE like the taste of beating them in the Attitude Era before WWE turned around and questioned if the AEW president was the right person to lead a wrestling company. Undertaker said, "I agree with you. I don't think there's a real true leader in the locker room. I am not sure. I have nothing against the man, but I don't know that Tony Khan is the guy to run the company. I mean, his heart's in a good place and he wants to do something, but I just don't know that he has the acremen to run a wrestling company against the juggernaut that is the WWE. But hey, I could be wrong. There was that one time I was wrong. I hope they get it together and we do have some competition. It's better for the wrestlers. It's better for the audience, the fans. It's better for everyone." What's your thoughts on Undertaker's views on AEW and Tony Khan?
Did it really take The Undertaker for you to understand what I've been trying to preach for the last 2 fucking years? Did it really take The Undertaker? Because that's literally my entire point this entire fucking time, is if we can just get it together, I'm cool with it. But I'm going to keep trashing until they get it together. That's just how it fucking goes, man. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. And that's just the way the news goes. That's it. That's it. That's all I've been preaching for years, is just get it the fuck together. You are going to be the downfall of your own fucking company. That's it. That's it. Just learn. If you want to continue to keep the position of the power and to run this bitch, learn how. Take criticism without reacting. Learn the ins and outs. Talk to legends. Talk about the things that you need to talk about. The logistics of the whole fucking organization in the industry. And also go to anger fucking management. Seriously, get off the internet for a little bit. Maybe delete or suspend your Twitter account for like a year and see how you do, because I feel like you're addicted. Other than that,
Yeah, I am too.
that's it. But that's it. That's literally what I've been preaching for the last 2 years. So that's all you need to know. Boom.
But the
Mic drop.
difference between Tony Khan and myself is I'm not running a multi-billion-dollar company like he is. I take Max Caster's approach when it comes to Twitter. Twitter's not a real place.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to say about this. All right. I know you've been saying this, but there's a difference between the way that you have been saying it than the WWE Hall of Famer, the Phenom, the Undertaker.
See, but what you're not saying,
You have a lot.
okay,
here's the difference between you and Undertaker.
No.
No.
I started the nice way. And nobody wanted to fucking listen to me. So when I got belligerent, I'm an asshole. But then
And that's the
somebody
difference.
like
You're an
Undertaker,
asshole. That's what I was gonna say.
You made me an asshole, boy. You made me an
Wait, can you
asshole,
say
boy.
that? Say that one more time.
You made me an asshole, boy. You made me an asshole. The wrestling fans have made me an asshole. I came in here again, Nikki Cross. You die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I am the goddamn Antichrist. I'm the goddamn Antichrist now. So yeah, you made me this way. I was spitting it like the Undertaker in the beginning, but nobody wanted to listen. And now I'm the fucking world's biggest asshole.
Okay, so I think a lot of people like misunderstand like my views on AEW, because of course I want every pro wrestling company to succeed. I do enjoy AEW. I do enjoy the professional wrestling side of it, but the drama that's behind the scenes, I don't enjoy that generally. I don't like the tribalism stuff that happens between WWE and AEW.
Which blows my mind because you're such a fucking reality chud. You're such a reality fucking lover, and I hate it because
you have
it's like, dude,
fucking annoying WWE fanboys and even the freaking little AEW fangirls going back and forth. It pisses me off on both sides. Not just the WWE fanboys. They pretty much have a dick measuring contest. Who has a bigger fucking
meltdown?
Literally. It's a dick measuring contest. And it's like, okay, cool. For me, it's just like politics. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about tribalism, this and that. Like, I just float whatever way I prefer. All right. I'm an independent. All right. I'm an independent. I'm a free agent. But with the Undertaker, everything he's saying is not wrong. Like, I'm not disagreeing with what you say here on the podcast, but it's the way you go about it and the way a lot of the WWE fanboys go about it. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, there's ways to approach a situation. And when you're trashing it and you're smiling and laughing about it and having fun about it, that just tells me that you don't want AEW to friggin' get better.
I do.
Like, when people are constantly trying to make AEW the joke, it's like, what is that going to do to help the company? How is that going to help them at the end of the day? Like, obviously, everybody's valid to their own opinions with stuff. Like, I'm not against, like, any of that. But with, like, the way Undertaker approached it, and the fact that he's even, like, saying, like, this is going to piss off some WWE insiders, but, like, competition brings out the best in everybody. And man, Undertaker, I think, really just hit the nail on the head with everything he said. Because think about it. Going back into like the old WWE locker rooms, who was the leader? It was The Undertaker. And that's the thing with WWE. It's more structured. And of course, they do have locker room leaders. But in AEW, everybody's on their own agenda because of the whole creative freedom, which I will give you credit for that, because I remember in the early episodes of the podcast, before hating AEW was a cool thing, that was one of your biggest takes that you would say on these older episodes of the podcast. You would talk about how eventually it's going to bite AEW in the ass with creative, and you shouldn't be giving professional wrestlers an EVP role. You shouldn't be giving wrestlers creative control. That I gotta definitely give you credit for that one.
But in regards to how I started to word the way that I said it, all I'm going to say is, Donnie, look down. Look where I'm pointing. You made me this way. My display name. You made me this way.
I didn't realize the lower third.
He made me this way.
Oh,
you made me this way. I am a product of you.
I knew you were gonna love this Undertaker topic. I knew it. Oh man. But I really do hope, like Undertaker said, AEW does get their shit together. I think right now, the last couple of months, AEW TV has been pretty good. But their problem is just at the end of the day, they're not making compelling storylines that are keeping viewers interested in why the ratings are very stagnant. Because a lot of pro wrestling fans like myself,
They don't have steady rivalries either.
I love professional wrestling. I love the 5-star matches. But what draws me into this business, what got me into this was the larger than life characters, the larger than life storylines that we got. And especially like yourself, I'm sure you love the storylines and the storytelling because you love film. That's your dream. That's your passion.
But I also love continuous feuds and buildups.
Me
I
too.
don't love fucking just sporadic matches until we get to the pay-per-view. Like, that doesn't make fucking sense to me. Like, where is the excitement there? It's like, oh, he said some crazy shit last week, but we got to wait 3 weeks for the resolution. No, I don't want that. I don't want that shit all the fucking time. It's like you only get that with the big storylines, and there's only like 2 or 3 happening in AEW. But everything else is just fucking random matches. Like, sure, some of them are good, but where's the substance? And that's what AEW is fucking missing.
Yeah, because for me, it's like
you can still
everything has to have a reason. Like everything needs a reason.
And you need time to tell that story. So it's like, yeah, you can still focus your stories for the most part in the ring. But you can also tell a story on microphones in an allotted amount of time without taking away from that. And you can put these characters that are in this feud in the same segments and keep those characters in matches or their factions in matches. Like, that's where they're falling short, is they're just throwing together these random matches, but like, oh, they're talking about it on commentary to keep it relevant. It's like, no, dude, no. They're not the storytellers. They're not the storytellers. You're fucking like, put your superstars in the fucking focal point and watch what happens. Like, that's where it bugs me out.
And I believe Matt Hardy did say that on his podcast. And that's like where I kind of got that take from, because it makes sense. And that's why I think the ratings are just going to stay stagnant and they're going to continue to decrease, unfortunately, because when it comes to a casual fan, especially in this time and age, 2024, where we all have short attention spans, where a lot of people rather watch TikToks and shorts, like you can't just do just matches. Like, you need to have the storylines and you need to connect the dots pretty much. And I feel like AEW is not doing that. Even though the television show has been a lot better the last couple months, it's not translating to the other people because, like you want there to be storytelling, because that's what draws, that's what drew, I feel like, most of the professional wrestling fans were the larger than life characters and the storytelling. But like Undertaker said, I really hope that they do get their shit together. And speaking of some shocking news, which don't know how this fucking came out, but this is our last We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors for this week. Shane O'Mac to AEW. According to Conrad Thompson and Jim Ross on Grilling with JR podcast, Shane McMahon has reached out to AEW talent to discuss the idea of joining the company. Would you like to see Shane O'Mac in AEW?
I feel like this is kind of out of the fucking blue. Like, it feels so out of the blue. I'm not really going to comment on it because, again, it feels very out of the blue. I feel like I need more details to emerge before I can really like comment on it. But I mean, would it help? Yeah, but why? Like, why? There's no point. If you want to do something in the business, just go back home. Like, go back to WWE. I guarantee there's something for you. I don't know if it's to like wrestle or if it's to, be a producer. I don't know. But I mean, obviously Tony Khan would hop on that dick real quick. Like, we know it. But at the same time, would it be beneficial? Absolutely. Shane is one of like the greatest minds and producers. He's a McMahon. I don't know. And again, I don't know how true it is just because of the shit Tony be spewing about, his brother-in-law. So it's like that shit, like, regardless of what business is business, some personal stings, those stick. So I again, like it could also be a case of wanting to fucking sabotage shit. He is a McMahon regardless. But at the same time, I'm not going to put that there and just say that that's what's happening. And no, that's that's probably the least likely scenario. But
It's
at the
definitely a
same
wild
time,
card. Definitely.
it is. And I don't know. It just feels so random that I'm not putting much thought behind it. But it's beneficial if it's like, something that's being talked about. It'll definitely help their product for sure. You'll definitely see his fingerprints all over the shit. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
So here's what I'm going to say. If something like this happens, I think that it's going to get a lot of buzz. I think a lot of people are going to talk about it. And I could see like ratings increasing for a little bit, but like we were talking about in the last topic, it's going to stay stagnant if they continue to go in this direction, which I don't think they're changing their way of doing things. But I feel like this would be something interesting. I know there's been rumors for years about this, which I really don't understand. It still doesn't make sense to me, like seeing this actually happen. But I'm not going to lie to you. I wouldn't be against it. I think it would definitely be something interesting. It definitely would have me intrigued to see what the hell is a McMahon doing in AEW. And this is something that I feel like they really need to have a lot of thought. And I feel like this is something that and I hate saying this because I love AEW and I praise a lot of things that they do. I don't think like they're going to try to do something big, and I don't think they're ready to do something that big. Because if like, that's the thing, like Eric Bischoff gets a lot of shit for WCW, but one thing you can't deny is that when it's all said and done, Eric Bischoff, he created the NWO, and that took off, and they defeated WWE for 82 weeks in a row because of Eric Bischoff. He was ready. He had the fucking seeds planted for months. And I feel like Tony Khan, he would have the seeds planted for 48 hours probably before it happens. And there is one match that I would like to see if Shane O'Mac shows up in AEW. And I don't know how you would feel about this, but I did see this on X. Imagine a freaking death match between Shane O'Mac and Darby Allin.
That does sound spicy.
That's what I'm saying, dude. With the crazy shit that Shane does, and then especially fucking Darby Allin, I feel like they definitely could do something there, like a whole, because they could do like an invasion angle with Shane, and they could do something there, which if they were going to do this and like this actually happens, personally, I would do it at All In when you're going to have a lot of people watching.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude.
But we're just going to have to wait and see.
That does sound like a spicy idea, though. Darby and Shane.
That's like the only idea I could think of.
Yeah.
But up next, we have the Getting Put Over segment and, of course, the main event topic. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast, episode 113.
Hello, this is Eric Redbeard, and you're listening to We Are Wrestling Podcast.
So, guys, I'm here with Top Dollar. Didn't even know he was going to be here. But I have one question to ask you. I got to ask you your thoughts on Hit Row.
Hit Row could have been the coolest thing that ever happened in wrestling. The perfect blend of hip-hop. I had the guys like DJ Who Kid, West Side Gun, Bun B, Snoop Dogg that wanted to collab with Hit Row, wanted to do things with Hit Row, and we were never allowed to. So, it's hard to get off the ground when they don't give you any gasoline. But I did enjoy my time at Hit Row, but it'll never come back. It's
now
not.
You're in TNA now.
Upgrade. It's never. Even if I go back to WWE, Hit Row is dead. Hit Row is dead. That's not coming back.
We're back, and just a reminder to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there: next Saturday, if you have nothing going on and you're in the Western Mass area, come out to Blitzkrieg Pro Luau. It's going to be a great time. Unfortunately, I won't be there, but Ben and Cam and potentially Ricky and Old School Phil will be there. So, guys, if you're looking to have a good time and watch some good old wrestling, highly recommend coming out to the Luau. I think Blitzkrieg, man, those are some of my favorite shows to go to. But now, every week, we do this thing called the Getting Put Over segment, where every week, Ben and I, we alternate and we pick one past, present, or future superstar and we put them over. Last week, Ben chose Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF. We put him over. This week, it's my turn, and I decided let's put over the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin. Somebody that we both grew up watching in the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yert.
I love the new We Are Wrestling logo instead of
Same
the
here,
DX.
Hell fuck yeah. It covers
I love
more
the
ground, if you know what I
statues.
mean.
All right,
Covers more
so
ground.
then where do you want to start with Shelton?
Well, let's start with the world's greatest tag team, shall we?
The world's greatest tag team, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas. That's where he made his main roster debut with Team Angle around 2003, which, man, the world's greatest tag team, they were one of my favorite,
Underrated.
most underrated tag teams out there.
The OG Creed Brothers, the OG Alpha Academy, the OG Spirit Squad, the OGs of the OGs, man. Like they had such that technical, like Greco style wrestling, which was awesome. Very, you know, like it was very grounded, you know, very like Olympic, very, you know, Kurt Angle influenced, if you will. You know, I mean,
Well,
you
they
know,
did have the amateur wrestling background too, which worked.
Yeah, which we all know that Brock Lesnar was, you know, very good friends with Shelton during that time. I think they went to,
They
like,
were
the
a
same
tag
college or
team
something,
back in
like,
OVW, and they were doing
That's what I'm
pretty
saying.
much. They were doing the tag gimmick that Charlie and him did on the main roster, which is
Yeah,
kinda
dude,
cool.
Shelton, yeah, they're really good friends, you know, like they're all cut from the same cloth, you know, and that's where Shelton's so underrated, you know, and that tag team was a really fun tag team to watch, you know, like it was, I think that's what's missing out of the Creed brothers, Kurt, personality, because they really don't have personalities. They're just, you know, one of those like generic tag teams that just kind of performs really well. They need a new
Yeah,
finisher,
plus it
though, for
doesn't help that
sure.
you have Brutus Creed going on like alive and having a fucking piece of cheese and talking about Bailey and Nia Jax's ass. Nia Jax actually quote tweeted and she pretty much was like laughing about it.
That's phenomenal.
But yeah, they don't
But
have
either
no
or,
personality. You're right about that.
they have no personality, but regardless, you know, like that's where, you know,
But it
the world's
also,
greatest tag team steps in.
but that's the thing that helped with Shelton, I think, in his career. Him and Charlie, they got to learn with Kurt Angle, traveling friggin' 300 days with him on the road. And Kurt Angle is not only one of the greatest friggin' amateur professional wrestlers out there, but he's also one of the most entertaining when it comes to segments and stuff. So, like, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, they literally had like a golden ticket to learn from one of the very best, which I think really helped Shelton during a singles run back in
Especially during the IC title run.
during the WWE draft when they finally split up Charlie and him.
Mm-hmm.
Which
And his
man,
singles run was great.
Dude, that's my favorite run for Shelton. It's got to be Intercontinental Champion 2004, man.
The best. The best.
He was on a whole nother
On
level.
fire.
Wrestling Triple H. That was a great like teacher-student match, which I really enjoyed. And then, of course, the most iconic moment that I remember that they used in the Raw intro probably for like 5 years was Shelton jumping off the ropes and Shawn Michaels hitting him with that Sweet Chin music. The greatest
that is
sell,
an iconic
in my
moment.
opinion,
That
for a Sweet Chin music.
he's a part of two iconic moments. One that he was on the receiving end of, and one that he was on the good end of. The good end is when he ran up that fucking ladder. That was the
ladder. He invented that. Yes.
And he made the Raw intro in 2005 twice for both of those angles, for the ladder angle and when he got Sweet Chin music. Both made it into the fucking intro. And that is incredible because those are iconic moments.
So I was watching highlights over the weekend for AEW Collision, and it was cool. They had this like no DQ match between Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo, and Thunder Rosa actually did a spot where like she set the table up kind of similar to Shelton Benjamin with the ladder, and she like ran up the table like and pretty much did like a drop kick on Deonna with like the trash can over her. It was a sick spot. But dude, Shelton really made, I think like Money in the Bank would not be where it's at if it wasn't for Shelton Benjamin's performance in the first two Money in the Banks, because he really made that match special with those spots.
they almost like relied on him to like have like some high spots in those matches because of what he did with the fucking ladder, like, and he sold it every time. Like Shelton is an underrated performer. Like again, for the career aspect, it's the personality, it's the mic skills where he lacked, and I feel like it was almost overshadowing his strong points in the ring, and it's unfortunate where it went, but he got really good moments and really good runs in where he could. Like again, his IC title reign was fucking phenomenal.
Ooh, do you remember back in the Ruthless Aggression? I think this is like after his IC title, before he went over to SmackDown and did the gold standard thing. Remember when
Yeah,
he
what's
had
up?
his mom as his like
Yes,
manager?
yes, and it was the most annoying shit to watch, period, but it was compelling television, and
She
I was like,
reminded me of like Restusha from the Norbit movie.
yeah, Rasputia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rasputia. Like, fucking, you got a girlfriend? Well, you do now. Yeah,
My
dude.
first rated R movie as a kid that I watched.
My
Loved
God,
it.
Norbit was fucking wild, man. But yeah, I know what you mean. Then she had that almost like Big Mama energy.
Yeah,
When
and
she
then
was just
she
angry as
and then
fuck.
during like a match on Sunday Night Heat, I remember like this article in like the old
Oh my
WWE
God, Sunday
magazine,
Night Heat
and it was literally a
velocity.
picture of her poking Val Venus with one of her needles to help Shelton win.
That's fucking hilarious. I remember
Yeah.
that shit, dude.
But I will say, I don't know why. I wasn't the biggest fan of Shelton when he was doing the gold standard
I
gimmick.
wasn't either. That's where
I
his
don't know what
downfall
it
started.
was. I didn't like it. Like, it was just,
I didn't like it either, and it was off of a style choice. Like it was like he dyed his hair blonde,
oh,
and
he
they're like,
dyed his
"Oh, the gold
hair. He
standard."
dyed his hair fucking gold, and he wore
Like, yeah,
gold
like it was
gear.
clever, but he just didn't live up to the standard. No pun intended. It didn't happen, and it
I'll
didn't
tell you
connect with a
one
lot
thing
of
with
the audience.
Shelton. I think if they gave him a manager during that time in Ruthless
MVP.
Aggression, he really could have been a world champion. Like, he had the presentation, he had the look,
Yep.
he had the athleticism, and I think if he just
Tony
had that
Atlas would have been a
mouthpiece,
good guy. Tony
dude,
Atlas
if
would
he
have been a
had that
great guy.
mouthpiece, oh, he would have
Yeah.
definitely been such a good heel world champion. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about some of the accolades that Shelton Benjamin did have throughout his career, because his run with WWE during his first time was not that long. I think it was like 2003 to like 2009. And it
Yeah, it
was
was only
during a
like
time where
years.
they had a lot of stacked people. So here's some of the accolades. In OVW, where he trained with John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Brock Lesnar, he won the OVW Southern Tag Team Championships 4 times. He won it 3 times with Brock Lesnar and 1 time with Reed Dogg. Don't know who that is. But Ring of Honor, he was actually a 2-time ROH World Tag Team Champion with Charlie Haas. That was after he left WWE, so that was like the early 2010s. And then in WWE, he was a 3-time 24/7 champion. Don't remember any of that. He is a 1-time WWE United States champion. That was during the gold standard. A 3-time WWE Intercontinental champion. And he was a 3-time WWE Raw Tag Team champion with Charlie Haas 2 times and 1 time Cedric Alexander.
Yep.
And those are the accolades for Shelton. But yeah, man, overall with Shelton's career, I think his second run in WWE had potential, but it just
It
didn't
just fell
work.
short. They disbanded the Hurt Business way too soon.
Before I'm talking like when they were debuting him. I do want to get into the Hurt Business a little bit, but when they debuted Shelton, bringing him back to WWE, this is like around like 2016, 2017. They brought back like Kurt Hawkins. They brought back a lot of former WWE guys, John Morrison. And with Shelton, they had a beautiful video package for him. And I think, man, they fucking blew it when they decided to team him up with Chad Gable and try to like recreate the world's greatest tag team with somebody different, which I'm not trying to take away anything from Chad Gable.
He was still Shorty G.
Like, Chad Gable was very talented, but like it wasn't the same because Gable and Jason Jordan with American Alpha, they had great chemistry. And like Shelton and Charlie Haas had great chemistry, but like these two, it just didn't like it. And then he kind of got lost in the shuffle, hanging out in catering, winning 24/7 titles. And then they had something with the Hurt Business. Don't know why Vince McMahon decided to end that. They had something, and that was it. And like with Bobby Lashley, that was like his best run in WWE, was when he was a heel with MVP and Cedric and Shelton. And it's just so disappointing. Like, I think they should have used Shelton, and they should have had him at least win the Intercontinental title one more time, and even like put him in a match with Gunter. I remember you and I were talking about that. We wanted Gunter versus Shelton because it could have definitely added more credibility.
What could have been,
Gunter.
man?
Like Gunter beating a 3-time Intercontinental champion, that would have made him look great.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah, like disbanding the Hurt Business that quick was just like, that was probably one of the biggest like stable fumbles of all time, and especially recent times, because that was the one stable that was really going somewhere. Like, it was really on fire at its time. Like, they had, I think it was, I don't know if it was just like the like who was a part of it, and they had MVP, which again is like a legend on the mic. So I just there is reasons why Vince McMahon is no longer mentioned. There's reasons. I need it. I need it back. I need it back one day.
Yeah, so just overall, my final thoughts with Shelton Benjamin. The reason I wanted to give him a statue and put him over is because I feel like he's so underrated. And when it comes to the getting put over segment, I love to put over the underrated guys that don't get talked about a lot. And I feel like Shelton doesn't get talked about a lot, which I can also plug too. The Wrestling Classic 5, We Are Wrestling will be a part of it. And the headliner is Shelton Benjamin. So if you're in the Springfield, Mass area, come out and meet Shelton Benjamin and come hang out with us.
Absolutely. We'll be there. November.
So what are your final thoughts with Shelton?
What could have been?
What could have been? So this week, we put over Shelton Benjamin in the Getting Put Over segment. Ben, next week will be your turn. Do you know who we're putting over?
Oh, everybody already knows who we're putting over. We spoke about this a month ago. We're putting over Rhea Ripley, boy. We're putting over Rhea Ripley.
We're putting over Mommy. I thought you were going to forget about that, but I'm glad you didn't.
Nope.
So...
I've been waiting for a month now.
So next week on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we're putting over Rhea Ripley, our second female wrestler. So
yeah, they need some love.
That being said, this is the topic you and I have both been waiting to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into the main event topic for the We Are Wrestling podcast, episode 113. This past Monday on Raw, we got the debut of the Wyatt Sick6. We're here.
Oh God, dude. Oh my fucking God.
Let's talk about it then. Where do you want to start? I know you have been waiting to talk about this for the last hour and a half.
All right. So as a movie guy, like I'm coming at this one first as a movie angle. Like, where I'm not going to talk about I'm not going to talk about where we're going yet. I'm not going to talk about any of that shit. I don't want to. Yeah, we're talking about without. Thank you. Yes, that is actually a perfect way to put it. The director's cut. All right. So let's start. Let's start with how perfect everybody is casted. Let's talk about how perfect every single role that every single one of these superstars are playing is perfect for them. 2, let's talk about the remixed designs to make it more grounded in reality, because they're abandoning the supernatural angle. And they're not known as the Wyatt Sick6, the number anymore. They're known as the Wyatt Sick6, like sickos, just fucking disgusting. And I honestly love that. Let's talk about the creative difference with all of their outfits now and how great they look grounded, because we know what they looked like when they were first portrayed. They were very cartoony. There was a bunny suit. There was just a chick that looked like a nun. There was this dude that was the buzzard. Mercy the buzzard. He had a fucking Hawaiian shirt on and some weird gloves and shit. Then you had Huskus Pig, who was wearing a cartoon pig fucking shit, which honestly looked dope as fuck.
Of course.
But now let's look at the remixes. You got Joe Gacy, who is playing the role of Huskus Pig. His gas mask, pig mask is so fucking sick, and he's keeping it real to almost like his like attire too. Like, but it's because we've been saying for a long time that he literally like embodies almost like the look of Bray Wyatt. Like he almost
Yes.
like looks like him too. And we've been
Same
kind of
look,
calling this
same
for a while.
attitude, same presentation.
I love that they, chose him because again, he's a little bit more of a heavier set guy and kind of reminds you of, fucking Husky Harris a little bit. So
Yeah,
it's nice
he's got a
seeing,
similar in-ring presence to him like Bray.
yeah, but like they gave him an attire that really fits that era of like Bray Wyatt. Now let's move over to Nikki Cross, who is playing Sister Abigail.
Best costume in my opinion.
The mask is haunting, bro, but it fits her. And the outfit is just a fucking just beat up, like old, just torn up, like white dress. And it's dope. Like the whole mask is just sick as fuck. And it's breaking back down to her sanity days. And I don't know if you noticed.
Real quick, you want to talk about a 180 going from Nikki ASH
A
to
superhero to fucking this. This was her descent into madness. And I love it. I don't know if you noticed though, but fun fact, Damo Mackle was in the back, was one of the extras that was laying up against the door before they went through the curtain in Gorilla. He was the bald big dude. That was Damo Mackle. Fucking
wow.
Yeah, that was her husband. Yeah, man, like it was fucking sick. And then moving over to Dexter Loomis, who's playing Mercy the Buzzard now. You could tell it was Dexter, but I love that they used a very almost like Slipknot approach when they used the mask. Like they still gave him like a buzzard, like almost
and
like
they had him
Raven
like in the
skull
corner in
with the
gorilla
dread.
position.
And he was
was
just
sick.
sitting there chilling, fucking silent killer. And then just the blood splatter next to it was sick as fuck too. Like the props and just the way that they designed Gorilla was awesome for it. And then again, moving into Eric Rowan. I was so happy to see him playing, not only the bunny character, but paying homage to fucking Luke Harper or Brody Lee, formerly known in AEW, having the fucking help sign on the fucking hammer, and like even just like his mannerisms, like when he turned around, like all like nervous, and like he went to like nervously grab the handle, that was fucking insane because I think they're reverting back to his OG gimmick where he was like just this deranged fucking giant that would just snap. And I think we're going into that. And he's the help fucking
and also
symbol.
too,
Because if you notice,
and don't forget either, the mallet that he was holding, he
was
had
from the
that
Bludgeon
with
Brothers.
The Bludgeon.
Luke Harper. Yeah.
Yep. Luke Harper.
Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. And now let's move on to Uncle Howdy himself. He is literally the ghost of Christmas.
Added so much
the
more
ghost
to it.
of Christmas past. He is literally the embodiment of his brother Bray Wyatt's spirit at this point. It's. I don't know if you noticed, but with Eric Rowan, he had the help on his hammer, right?
Mm-hmm. He had
Uncle
the circle
Howdy
on the top.
Uncle
hat.
Howdy was wearing one glove, and he was wearing the hurt glove. He wasn't wearing the help.
I did notice that. Yeah.
So I think when it comes to the Eric's bunny character, I think he's gonna be back and forth. I think he's gonna be like kind of in between. Like he's gonna have like a psychotic break somewhere. So it's. I just want to give like a huge like holy fuck to the wardrobe department and like their attire and like what they're presented as now, because even Uncle Howdy looks incredible. He looks
way
incredible.
better than his first time.
Letting him. They gave him the same jacket that Bray's final Fiend form was going to wear. They gave him the same trench coat. And then, obviously keeping the lantern and just seeing how fucking happy Bo Dallas looked, dude. Like, Bo looked happy as fuck just looking out at the crowd and shit. Like, he looked... I just need to, again, give my flowers to the makeup department. I need to give it to the set department. I have to give it to the art department. Like, I have to give it to everybody that was involved in that segment because holy fuck, dude, that was next. That felt like almost the re-debut of Bray Wyatt himself again. And then to have just the piano part to his song. I wonder if that's going to be their song for the stable, is his song. And if that is the case, it's going to be nice. That's going to be nice to hear every week again.
All I know is, man, I want to give my flowers to the production team because they did all of this with one camera. And they did an
One continuous
amazing
shot.
job just panning like from like the stage to like the gorilla position to
You can
Uncle
tell they
Howdy
rehearsed the
coming
fuck
out
out of this.
with the rest of the group and just doing, especially at the end, you hear Uncle Howdy say, "We're here." Perfect ending, perfect cliffhanger. What's going to happen next Monday on Raw? It's got me intrigued. And here's the thing. I was very nervous about WWE doing this because obviously Bray Wyatt has such a beautiful legacy
It's massive,
in
dude.
WWE. It's massive. And a lot of the times, like when Kobe Bryant passed away, a lot of people in basketball said, well, the sport's never going to be the same again. And to a certain degree, it's not the same again. And the thing I got nervous about, because obviously we know how the IWC is, friggin', they're toxic as fuck.
Oh,
and
we know it.
With this Wyatt Sick thing, I had a feeling it was going to work because I believe in fate. And Bray Wyatt, throughout that entire ending, you can tell he was there in spirit. You can tell. I felt it in my body that he was there with Bo in that fucking moment. And they have something here, and I can't believe like they executed it the way they did it. And I'm so impressed because I was so fucking nervous that like it was going to be one of those things like when WWE brought back ECW and it just wasn't the same from what Paul Heyman did. That's what I thought it was going to end up being like, but I'm glad I'm wrong. And I think that they're on to something really fucking big here.
I think it's going to be a mind-blowing experience for however long this lasts. But I hope it lasts a long time. I hope it's successful. I hope that it reinvigorates the career of every single person involved. And I hope that it just it owns to the legacy of Bray Wyatt.
Exactly. Well said. And here's also one of my concerns. When it comes to the Wyatt Six, I really hope that we get more matches that aren't just cinematic. I want regular wrestling matches as well. I need there to be that balance because I love the vignettes. I love the promos. You know, I am a mark when it comes to vignettes. I always say vignettes can make a superstar. And with the Wyatt Six, as long as they're also like competing in the ring and we're not like going from like when Bray Wyatt came back during his second time, it was Extreme Rules when he debuted and he pretty much did nothing in the ring all the way until Royal Rumble, and it was a cinematic match. That was one of the complaints that a lot of people had in the wrestling community was the lack of matches.
Where I can hopefully kind of rest assured, where I can rest assure you, where they're dropping the supernatural gimmick and they're going to, make this street level, they're going to make this based in reality. I can almost guarantee you that you're safe there. I think that they will. I think that they are 100% going to be almost kind of like a group of like serial killers now. Like I think that that's like where they're going for. I think that they're like a group of retribution, like cultist. I think it's very cult-like. I think they're going back to the roots of the Wyatt family. Like I think we're going back to that.
I love the Wyatt family, so if we can go back to that, because it was a perfect balance for Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. And during Bray Wyatt's second run, they kind of went more into like a fantasy. Like I like the reality stuff. So if they can keep some of that reality stuff, which in this segment that we got on Raw, I felt the realness there. I'm going to be totally okay.
I think it's going to be a cult. I think it's going to be a cult. And I think if that's the case, man, we're on to something big. But I'm excited to see their landing point. I'm excited to see, where the first feud's gonna lie. I'm excited to see how they're gonna build this, and I'm excited to see, who's on the list. So I'm excited.
Can't wait. And especially now that we're in a new era, anything can happen. We always preach that on this podcast. And man, this cliffhanger that they did on Raw, fucking perfect. A+. It was a great segment. They did a great job.
Yep.
Anything else, Ben, you want to talk about before we close off this week's episode?
No, we hit it on the nail, brother.
We definitely did. And just a reminder to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, there is a new vlog up on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, the Wrestling Classic and Blitzkrieg Pro Living Proof vlog. Ben gets friggin' beer poured all over him by the Sandman. You can see it right there in the thumbnail.
Love it.
And you can also see that we met some wrestlers at the Wrestling Classic, like Eric Bischoff and Matt Riddle, and just so much more. Also, I did a whole haul video as well on all the autograph things that I got at this event, including a rare pair of Devon Dudley glasses that he actually used in a Wyatt family segment on Raw, which is so freaking cool. Also, Blitzkrieg Pro Luau next Saturday. You have nothing going on, come out. If you're not in the area, watch it on IWTV. That's what I'll be doing on vacation. But let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics that we covered this week. Maybe you'll be featured in the comment of the week segment. The only way you can do that is by commenting down below. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, make sure to smash that like button now. I think that this was definitely probably one of my top 5 episodes that we did. So much awesome things that we got to talk about. And yeah, I think we had like one of the longest shoot the shits too in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this week's episode on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. Give us a follow. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already over on the YouTube channel, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, because we're giving you guys the best pro wrestling content, live watch-alongs, predictions, vlogs, reactions, and the video version of the podcast, which is now on Fridays, not Saturdays anymore. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow Ben and I over on our social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. Ben is not only doing music reactions now over on his channel, he's also doing live gaming stuff, so if you are looking to hang out with Ben, he's over there on his channel, Rage Circus. Myself, I'm doing toy videos, which you already know. I'm going to be covering my custom Owen Hart that I talked about in the beginning of the show, and my SpongeBob cups. The only way you can watch that is by going to the Best One Donnie channel. All the links down below. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.